Hey, so here's a video to help you with trigger links and an overview on how they work. So trigger links are used if you want to embed a URL or a link into some form of communication, such as an SMS or an email within a campaign, or even manually during a conversation. So there's three steps in setting this up. Step one is creating the trigger link. Step two is embedding it in the campaign or pulling it into your conversation. And step three is creating a trigger to trigger off the trigger link. What that means is basically when somebody clicks a specific link, you send them in conversation or in an email or SMS campaign, then some sort of action or some sort of event triggers, such as putting them into another campaign or sending them something else via email or text or updating them in your pipeline. You can get really creative with this. So let's go through it right now. And here we're in our demo account again. And the first step is going to be creating the trigger link. So first you'll go to Marketing Suite and you'll go over to trigger links and you'll hop over to add link at the top right here. And you can give this trigger link a name, demo trigger link. And here in the link URL, you'll put the actual URL that you want to use. So let's say in this case, you want to send them a link to your website. And let's say your website is lovelypotatoes.com. So once you've added your URL, you'll click save. And now we have one trigger link created and you can add as many as you want. So that's step one, which is creating the trigger link. Step two is embedding this into a campaign or a communication with a lead or a customer or a prospect. So for that, the first way to do it is to do it within a campaign. This will be automated. So let's say you have a campaign set up. We're going to go with demo campaign here and let's look at SMS. So if you want to say, hey, check this out, it's as simple as clicking on trigger links here in the drop down, selecting the trigger link that you just created, demo trigger link, and that's it. So this is the preview of the text that the person will see. The trigger link won't show exactly like this. So the trigger link will actually go out to the prospect or end user looking like this, securelink.app / some random characters. It might be numbers or letters or a mix. If you ever want to see what a preview of this text would look like when you create a campaign like this, you can always scroll down and enter your cell phone number here and then hit send test. So you'll get an actual preview of what the messaging looks like so you can make sure it looks up to par. And once you've gone ahead and done that, you can click save. Now, the other way to do this is via email. And so let's just go with the test subject line. And the cool thing about email is that you can actually embed the link into a text, into words. So it doesn't look as weird as a text message. So you can do something like this. Hey, check this out. So you actually copy or highlight the text. You click on insert edit link. And under link list, you're going to choose the trigger link that you just created, and then we'll click OK. And now when the email comes across, it's going to look like this. And now they just have to click on the words here. So that's basically what your campaign is going to look like. And once again, if you ever want to test this out and get a preview, you can always send this to yourself. So we'll click save. And once we've done that, we can publish the campaign so it's live. And before we get to step three, we're going to actually cover how to use a trigger link within a conversation. So if you go to conversations, and let's say you're having a conversation with a prospect or a lead and you want to send them a trigger link, you could just tell them, hey, check this out. And you can do this via SMS or email manually on a one-off basis within a conversation. You'll click this tags icon here. You'll scroll down, you'll go to trigger links, and you'll click on the trigger link that you just created. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and click send and it'll send out the trigger link. And once again, this is what the trigger link actually looks like to the receiving person. So if they click on it, it'll take us to lovelypotatoes.com. However, that's not a real website, so obviously nothing is going to show up here right now. And you can do the same thing via email within a conversation. So moving on here, step three, which is actually creating a trigger to trigger off the trigger link. So for that, we're going to click on triggers down here, and we're going to go to add trigger at the top right. And you want to give this trigger a name. And we'll hit save. And on the left hand side here, we're going to click choose a trigger and we're going to select trigger link clicked. So if you want to get more specific with specific links rather than just any link being clicked, we're going to go to add filter. We can choose trigger link. We can select the trigger link here from the drop down. And then we'll add an action. There are a few things you can actually do here. So one example would be if somebody clicks on a link, you might want to update their stage in the pipeline. Another thing you could do is add them to a specific campaign. Another thing you could do is add a conversion event to Google AdWords or Google Analytics. Another thing you could do is remove them from campaigns, remove them as an opportunity, send them a specific email, send a notification to your internal team or your sales team or your staff. There are a lot of things you can do basically. In this case, we're going to add them to that campaign we just created. So what we want to do here is basically if they click a specific trigger link, we're going to add them to another campaign. First, we might even want to remove them from the original campaign. So let's say they were already on that demo campaign. We're going to go remove from campaign. We're going to choose demo campaign. We're going to add action. We might want to, let's say, update them in the pipeline. In this case, just for example's sake, we're going to click interested. We're going to update them to the interested stage in the pipeline because they clicked our trigger link. So once you've done that, you just want to make that trigger live. We'll click activate and we'll hit save. So it's as simple as that. In this case, when somebody clicks your demo trigger link that we just created, they'll be removed from that campaign and they'll be moved to another stage in the pipeline. And you might even want to add them to another campaign. So essentially you can do whatever you want here using triggers, but a popular one, like I said, would be to remove them and or add them to another campaign or even update their stage in their pipeline. So now every single time somebody clicks on that trigger link, like one of your leads, they're going to be removed from the demo campaign. In this case, they're going to be updated in the pipeline to a different stage, and they might even be added to another campaign if we add that here. So I hope this video was helpful, and feel free to reach out to our support team if you have any questions.